Lithium and cobalt get all the headlines, but there's a quiet metal that's been the backbone of industry for a century. Meet manganese. Without it, the world literally stops moving. It's the fourth most used metal on Earth, and it's about to change everything.
Before it was in batteries, manganese was the secret ingredient of steel.
In fact, 90% of all manganese mined today still goes into the steel industry.
It removes impurities like sulfur and makes iron harder.
Without it, our skyscrapers would literally buckle under their own weight.
But a shift is coming. Steel is the past, the battery is the future.
In the race for better electric vehicles, automakers are hitting a wall with cost.
Cobalt is expensive and controversial. Nickel is volatile.
Manganese? It's the solution. It stabilizes battery chemistry.
It improves safety, and most importantly, it's cheap.
This is why the world's biggest battery makers are making the switch.
If you want to find manganese, you have to look at South Africa. This single country holds nearly 80% of the world's known reserves.
The Kalahari manganese field is the largest deposit of its kind on Earth.
But relying on one region for a critical mineral, that's a geopolitical risk.
Western nations are now scrambling to diversify their supply. The hunt is on.
While South Africa is king, it's not the only player.
Gabon is the world's second largest producer, aided closely by Australia. Gabon's high-grade ore is specifically prized by battery makers.
These secondary suppliers are the safety valve for a global market.
But mining the ore is only half the battle. Next, you have to refine it.
Mining manganese is easy. Refining it to 99.9% purity is hard.
And right now, China does almost all of it. Over 90% of the world's battery-grade manganese is processed in China.
This leaves the global EV market dependent on a single nation's processing plants.
But new refining projects are finally starting to sprout elsewhere. The race is on. You've heard of NMC, nickel, manganese, and cobalt. It's the gold standard for high-range EVs. But manganese is now breaking into the budget sector through LMFP. By adding manganese to the cheaper iron batteries, manufacturers are getting more range for less money. This chemistry is predicted to dominate the mass-market EV segment by 2030.
It's not just a change in minerals, it's a change in who can afford to drive electric.
Manganese isn't just for things that move. We need to store renewable energy on a massive scale.
Manganese-based flow batteries are a promising alternative to lithium.
They are safer, last longer, and can be scaled to power entire cities.
Unlike lithium, manganese doesn't catch fire easily, making it perfect for neighborhood storage.
The grid of tomorrow might just be powered by the quiet metal of today.
But green energy doesn't always mean a clean start. Manganese mining has a footprint.
Large open-pit mines change landscapes forever, and dust can affect local health. As the demand for batteries triples, the pressure is on for responsible manganese standards. New certification programs are trying to ensure that your EV battery isn't harming the communities where it began.
Sustainability is the only way forward for the battery boom.
What happens when an EV battery dies? We can't just throw it away.
Scientists are developing new ways to recover 99% of the manganese inside old cells.
Recycling could eventually provide a quarter of our needs, reducing the need for new mines. The future is circular. Every gram of manganese we mine today can be used again tomorrow.
Manganese is the secret to a long-lasting, affordable energy revolution. Not all manganese is created equal. For EV batteries, you need high-purity manganese sulfate. This chemical grade is a fraction of the total market,
but its demand is skyrocketing. Creating it requires complex chemical processing that few countries outside of China have mastered.
The largest manganese deposit isn't on land, it's at the bottom of the ocean.
Polymetallic nodules, the size of potatoes, cover the deep sea floor.
They contain massive amounts of manganese and cobalt.
But deep-sea mining is highly controversial, with warnings of irreversible damage to marine life.
Will the hunger for batteries reach the bottom of the world? The debate is just beginning.
In the battery world, cost is king. Cobalt can cost $35,000 a ton.
Nickel, $15,000. Manganese, it's often less than $2,000.
This massive price difference is why car makers are redesigning their batteries.
By using more manganese and less of everything else, EVs can finally compete with gas cars on price. Manganese is the key to unlocking the mass-market electric revolution. Australia is a manganese powerhouse. While South Africa has the volume, Australia has the grade.
Projects like Groot Island are world-class, producing ore that battery makers love.
For Western car makers, Australia represents a safe, reliable, and high-quality partner. It's not just about mining. It's about building a supply chain that bypasses risky zones. Australia's manganese is the safe bet for a clean energy future.
How does manganese actually work? Inside a battery, it provides structural stability.
Nickel provides the energy, but manganese prevents the system from breaking down.
It's the skeleton that holds the power together, allowing batteries to last thousands of cycles.
Without manganese, high-performance batteries would degrade much faster.
Better chemistry means better cars, and manganese is the secret sauce.
The United States is in a precarious position. It has zero domestic manganese mining.
It is 100% dependent on imports for a mineral it cannot live without.
For the world's largest economy, this is a glaring hole in national security.
New laws like the Inflation Reduction Act are trying to fix this by funding domestic projects. The US is finally waking up to the power of manganese. The catch-up has begun.
Even as batteries boom, we can't forget silicon manganese. This is for the world of construction.
This alloy is the secret to modern high-strength construction.
It's what allows our bridges to span miles and our towers to reach the clouds.
The demand in infrastructure is still growing, competing with the battery world for every ton. Manganese is double essential. It builds our cities and moves our cars.
Why does a 10% reduction in battery cost matter?
Because it's the difference between a luxury toy and a middle-class necessity. If we master the manganese supply chain, we master the future of transportation.
This quiet metal is writing the next chapter of how we get around.
Safety is the biggest hurdle for EV adoption. It's what people worry about most.
Manganese improves thermal stability, making batteries much safer.
This builds consumer trust. When people know their car is safe, they buy it.
Manganese isn't just about chemistry, it's about the confidence to make the switch.
Safety, cost, and power. Manganese delivers all three.
The era of the quiet metal is here. From the deep mines of South Africa to the most advanced batteries on Earth, manganese is making the green transition possible. It is the bridge to an affordable, safe, and sustainable future. Join the journey and follow for more. Like and share. Reshare for more. Subscribe for more. Documentary created with AIStorystudio.com.